All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the Reside podcast. I'm Nick McLean. I'm here with Suneet Agarwal. What's up, bud? It's been a while.
What's up? Yes, happy to be here.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm super excited to be back because we took a hiatus from the SPN show, which is now rebranded to the Reside podcast because we launched a company.
Yeah,
We launched a big company.
big one. Yes,
Yeah,
our
and so
focus shifted.
our whole worlds have shifted, and a lot of our clients their worlds have shifted quite a bit. So, I mean, I could do it, but I think I want to hear from you too. What is Reside, and what's been happening with that? And let's touch on that for people that don't know.
I mean, like, and we wrote out a great description, so I'll do it verbatim. But I don't think there's ever been anything quite like Reside yet, because to take it one step deeper into coaching, from coaching, like how can we, the four of us and our systems and processes, get completely ingrained into another team of brokerage? And we discovered that. And we discovered that through the Reside platform. We're, figured out ways to get them using our systems and processes, even our content, onboarding and training agents and leaders every week. Like, dude, the amount of training that's happening is
It's insane.
it's insane.
It's absolutely insane. And I've always prided myself on delivering to my team the absolute best training, engagement, just one on one or group, just fully immersed training. But what the Reside agents are getting, or the Reside clients, the teams and their agents are getting, is unreal.
Unreal.
It's unreal. Like yesterday was onboarding. So I was running the onboarding. You ran an onboarding class with me, right? At 8
I
a.m.
helped out. You definitely ran it. You're the best at that. So I,
So we were doing week 5, right? Week 5 with a lot of these agents, new to Reside, new to their teams. And we were going over follow-up practices. I mean, there was hundreds of agents on there,
yeah, there were.
hundreds of agents. And so, and then we did another onboarding class. Then the very
Yeah.
next hour. Then I did another onboarding class with 10 new agents. One of our clients, one of the Reside teams, Sean O'Neill, JPAR in Jacksonville, he brought on 9 agents in the last couple of weeks.
Dude, that's great.
So good. So good. And his director of sales, Gary's bringing them into this room, and I get to like dive into them and train these agents
Yes.
from day one. I mean, there was a couple agents with 3 years experience. Like one had 3 years experience, but most were under a year experience. And we're going to talk about recruiting today.
Yeah. Well, we also, we had our first mastermind. What was it? 2 weeks ago, or was it
Yes.
last week? I don't know. Was it two
Yeah, a
weeks ago?
couple of weeks ago. Tell everyone
Yeah.
about it.
So I thought so. We're going to be doing multiple events, masterminds for the Reside partners teams every year, and we had kind of our first one, which was at John Cheplak and Brittany's house in Baton Rouge, and we all flew out there. Dude, there was a lot of Reside teams there. There was a lot, and John is so good at these masterminds. Like, she just goes
It's so
so
good.
hard, dude. He goes so hard. Like, I got up there for like 30 minutes so like he could get on a call or something. And as soon as he walked back in, he just straight up took control back over. And I just sat down. I said, I know I'm not going to try and talk over him, but he does so good. And he keeps it moving, and the engagement is there. And it's such a good, like, one of John's superpowers always is his perspective, because he sees so much and hears so much. And when you hear him talk about what he's learned in those perspectives and experience, um, for a whole day, like, I think everyone that was there was blown away.
Blown away. And we were blown away too, to a certain extent. I don't know, I was, and I'll tell you why. That, kind of my observation, Sunit. So you have Reside platform launched officially July 1st, and we had 17 teams. We just signed up number 18,
Yes.
number 18. And it'd be cool to announce. It's going to be really cool to announce her and her team. What marketplace is she in, by the way?
Denver.
Denver. Super cool marketplace. So, anyways, I think all of the team leaders made it except for maybe two to Baton
Yeah.
Rouge. And Baton Rouge isn't easy to get to. And the level of engagement and focus to John and to everybody was next level. I mean, you know this, Suneet. You pay to be. How many mastermind groups have you been in? I
Oh,
mean, you're in a high level marketing one right now.
yeah. Yeah. And you don't see that kind of engagement, dude. It was remarkable. That's what
Before John's talked about this too, and we have a private Facebook group for Reside members. And John's run, elite masterminds, elite private groups. We have never seen engagement like this, interaction like this.
Never.
Why is it that the team leaders across North America and Reside are sharing so much openly versus maybe a Facebook group that you're in, all these other Facebook groups? Why is that? What is it? What is going on?
I think that there is some deeper level of camaraderie and community happening. So everybody, well,
We've never talked about this. I can't
No.
explain it.
yeah. So most people in most masterminds that we're involved in are focused and motivated, or they wouldn't spend the money to participate in these kind of things. Let's be honest, right?
You pay to play, you pay to get in the room.
Yeah, you definitely pay to get in. I've paid to be in many rooms. Like you said, I still do. But so everyone's paying to be there. You would hope that since they're paying a substantial amount, that they would be engaged and want to be collaborative in this. But however, inside of real estate, you don't always see that, right? You really don't see that collaboration. And I think maybe it's fear of like competition,
Judgment,
you know, ego a little bit.
ego.
But
We have no ego. I mean, we have teams doing 8 million GCI gross commissions, and we
yes,
have teams at the 500,000 level.
yes,
There was no ego.
it's remarkable.
And I think that's a testament to you, Suneet. You've sold thousands of homes in a year, 1,900 homes last year or something crazy. And Preston and his team just passed 1,100 homes in 20 months. And you guys are coming humble, right? As a servant, like you're serving them and giving. And I think that lowers the bar. And also John Cheplak, he said it. He's like, I'm going to meet you where you're at, and then we're going to help guide you to where you want to go.
Yes.
Now, what we want is you to grow your team and your business because we're incentivized to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we care. So it's kind of an interesting thing where how much of the camaraderie and sharing is because everyone is playing the same game. Because everyone at Reside is using Follow Up Boss, Sierra, the same bookkeeper, the same training. They're hearing the same things. How much of that is part of it? Because when you go to these other mastermind groups, someone's using this CRM, someone's using this, and it's always like this hodgepodge of ideas where we can dive into what actually works. I mean, what do you think?
Dude, I think that could be part of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a really good hypothesis at the very least.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't put my finger on it.
Well, I'll give you an example, Cindy. Let's say you had an awesome sales meeting and you ran an awesome contest at your team or something like that. You go to a mastermind and say, hey, I can share something that worked. But people in Reside, they may have been in the same meeting. Like you run a weekly sales agent meeting. So we can all reference the same experience and talk about how we talk about our experience of the same experience versus other teams are like talking about experiences that aren't shared.
Will I did this? Will I did this?
Yes, yes, yes,
Which
yes.
honestly happened the very next day at John's house,
It did. It
right?
did.
Where people were, well, I do this, well, I do, which is great. Like I acknowledge everybody for their success, but that's the difference, dude.
That's the difference. And you're wondering, okay, well, you did it that way, but will it work in my market with my team, with my systems? How do I put that round peg in a square hole, or the square peg in a round hole? How's that work?
Well, it
Um,
was, but you did it like, but you did it like, but right. So
and the second day was amazing. And that wasn't Reside. That was another mastermind group. It was amazing. And people were saying, this is how I do it. And I kind of I was like biting my tongue going, I know that's how you did it, but did it work? What's best? What is the truth? What can I take back?
did it
You
work?
know, and
Yes,
John does an amazing job of finding the principles and things.
yes, he does.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you synthesize like what's working across the board? So what else is going on? So we got Reside. It's super exciting. It's taking up a lot of our focus. And I think it's going to take up more of our focus. Don't you agree, Suneet? Yeah.
Yes, and I welcome it because I'm having an incredible experience with all of it. That launch was fun. Working with you guys is fun. We motivate and drive each other, which is great. It's super cool to be partners with John on something because right, he's somebody that we paid for the longest time to coach us. So that's quite an honor, always. And even you too, like dude, like I looked up to you forever, farther from that first event, and to work with you, you guys are so smart. I'm learning every day. Like, what was it? We were doing an onboarding. Like, shout out to Nick and his brilliance. As we were doing onboarding yesterday, and Nick talked about like hiring people that work for him as COI, center of influence, and making sure that he's getting referrals both ways. It was like, it was so good. We got
Yeah.
to do it, man. We got to do like one whole podcast or one whole training on that.
Just on center and how you talk
Yeah.
to your people and it's really good. I mean,
Dude, that's a
so
good training. We should write that down.
that's a really, really good training. Now, I was watching something online last night, and it was Paul Graham. Paul Graham's a VC type person in Silicon Valley. I don't know if you know who Paul Graham is.
Uh,
And
was he an Apple guy? No, that's Paul.
yeah, he's kind of an Apple guy, kind of a VC guy, kind of a hacker, kind of that hacker early 90s, 2000s world. Well respected Silicon Valley thinker and investor. He even works with OpenAI, the founder of OpenAI.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah, still in the game. And he was telling a story about Apple, and he was like, okay, the first Apple. Here's the fundamentals of a good startup, right? They don't go they're not super big at first, but the people that they're working with, they go all in on and ensure success. And he was talking about Apple and how the first Mac came out and they only sold 500 Macs the first set. But these Mac owners, I mean, Apple was 100% invested in them using the product, getting the most out of it, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, making sure that they absolutely love the product. And look at Apple now, right? Obviously, there's a success story. And I was thinking about Reside and us and going, okay, we got 18 people. This is the exact same thing. I mean, you got you, Suneet, John, Cheplak, and me going, we're absolutely obsessed with those people succeeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. He-
Not perfection, just succeeding.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Yes. Just
because there's
best
bugs.
practices on what we have experienced that has worked. And there's like so many things that I want to be so much more anal with when talking with the Reside teams because I may have experienced it not work very well, right? And I've learned that the hard way. And people have these misconceptions about shit they see on a Facebook group, but I'm in reality, this is my experience. Oh, and I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Because I
Mhm.
go hard and test it, doesn't work, I stop. So being able to have that insight for these teams and then listening and adopting it, like I love it.
I love it. I love it. Even last night we were you, me, and Preston were kind of collaborating on a Reside kind of framework for scoreboards and leaderboards for your team. Like,
Yeah,
how do you display a scoreboard for your team that motivates them, that holds them accountable? And you pointed out in Follow Up Boss, if for those that use Follow Up Boss, there's a point system.
yeah,
So your agents get points based on certain measures, leading measures, calls, emails, appointments. And between the three of us, we came up with a blueprint on how we use that for our teams that
yeah.
we shared with everyone in Reside. That works. And I'm like, that is magical.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's something that I decided to implement more from attending the mastermind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, though the leaderboard was a second thought to me, uh, not second thought, but it wasn't such a primary focus prior to the mastermind. I came home on Sunday and we rolled out like mastermind for our appointments on Tuesday,
Mm.
right? So everybody's just getting
Well, I
these
was doing that,
best
you know,
practices, dude.
I was reporting numbers to the team, calls, emails, texts to the team. And I had one of my top agents said, this doesn't really motivate me. And I said, oh, really? Doesn't motivate you? Even though she was calling me, letting me know she's watching and seeing it. Right. So maybe it is motivating you. Maybe you do care where you rank.
Yeah,
Right. So be careful what people say to you. Kind of observe, are you getting the actions you want? Because a lot of times you'll put a leaderboard out there or a scoreboard and they'll be like, I don't like that. Well, maybe you don't like you're in fifth place.
yes, right.
Right. And now you need to kick it up a notch. So as a coach and a team leader, there's a really good Netflix documentary series where they have some coaches from different sports. And one of the coaches is the tennis coach of Serena Williams.
Okay.
And I don't know his name, but he's a French tennis player. And he goes, my job's to get her to, it's hard to get Serena Williams like to work harder. Like I
Right.
need to find whatever it takes, whatever it takes. That's what he said. At this level, I'm going to do it and deploy it if it means she gets a better result. She might kick and scream, push back. That doesn't matter. What matters is it going to make Serena Williams better? And it's so amazing. So I thought about that with my top agents. I'm like, okay, is it working? Is it getting you to move the needle? But she did say something that was important. She said, Nick, that doesn't really motivate me. I like to see the sales numbers
Yeah.
because when I'm not in the top 5, that motivates me. So I said, Roger that. So I have this scoreboard and I have this scoreboard, and I
Yep.
go both
Yep.
because people are motivated for different reasons.
Dude, like we publish the top 5 agents every month, and we publish the top 5 leaderboard champs every week.
Ooh, publicly, internally. Let's talk about that. Internally or externally, or both.
Facebook for both, our Facebook, Instagram for both, and Slack. For both.
How does that motivate? How does that also promote your agents? Have you found any feedback on that?
I mean, dude, everybody loves acknowledgement, right? Public acknowledgement, especially from their boss or leader. Everyone loves that. And also, I think it's a great way to celebrate all the wins without it being production based always,
Mm,
right? Because you can win at the leaderboard every week. Eventually, you'll hit that top 5 for our production too.
yes. And it's a lagging measure too. It might take 90 days, 100 days.
Yeah, it's a lagging measure. You nailed it.
Yeah. Because I was talking to Preston about this, and Preston's like, well, I don't. I base like he has a contest in which if you sell a certain amount of homes or a volume, if you sell over $1 million a month, you get invited to a lunch. This is a team lunch. It's exclusive. It's for the top producers. to hang out, have fun, collaborate, bond, and it's like a top producers club. Do you have a top producer club type of thing?
Um, I have been really inconsistent on celebrating.
But have you done it in the past?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. I one of my cousins, he's been in sales his whole life in Silicon Valley. And they do like the top 20% for the year they always go to like something bonkers nice, right? Like the Four Season Monterey Bay
Really?
or something real exclusive. And it's a motivator for a lot of people. And it's a feather in the cap a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's bragging rights.
bragging rights. But back to Preston's point, he said $1 million, and I go, but that's not the point system. He goes, but here's the thing. He goes, over time, the people with the most points are the ones in the top 5.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you got to make sure that those are things line up, right?
yeah.
Make sure
Well, I
those
mean,
things.
they have to almost by proxy. If you do the most activity, you're talking to the most people. Unless you're,
Otherwise, yeah, by proxy.
yeah,
Yeah. If they're not lining up, then you're probably not keep scoreboarding the right activities. Right. And we know calls, emails, texts, appointments are the metrics, but you might think, okay, well, time on phone. Like Follow Up Boss has this like, calls over 2 minutes are worth an extra little boost. Right?
yeah.
So let's talk about recruiting. Let's kind of switch on that, right? Because a lot of people join Reside. Let's be honest. They're joining Reside because they want a platform that will allow them to go out and get more people, bring them in. We help integrate them into production and repeat, rinse
Yes.
and repeat, right? I
I
mean,
mean, so
most of the people that Reside have big numbers. They want to go from 10 agents to 30 agents, 30 agents to 100 agents.
as they should,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so what happens is I feel like when you're a in production team leader, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you want to grow, you take on so much of the training that now you're the trainer, you're in production, and you are the recruiter. So one of the great parts about the Reside platform and the offer is we're going to help you do a lot of that stuff so you can maybe focus more on the production, focus more on recruiting, focus more where you need to, right? Um, so taking the onboarding off people's plates is huge, huge. Like, do you remember onboarding your first couple of agents? Like that was hard.
All day. I did fire hose, drinking out of fire boot camp, right?
So I mean, like now I pay a person full time in my organization to do that, right? To that's part of her job, and that's expensive. Um,
And that's Anna,
that's Anna, who's great, but
who's great, who who,
uh,
ste- who stepped in and did a training, and the people loved her.
yes, great, and she will again. And in fact, she sent me that open house stuff too. That's something that she does
Oh,
with
that's
her
killer
agents. So great resource. Shout out to Anna Stender over
for
at
sure.
my team in Sacramento. So recruiting. Now that you're able to recruit, um, like I think we probably go deeper into this at some point, or maybe we touch on it today. But in recruiting, it really boils down to like warm and cold, right? Like if you want to look at the top level,
Okay.
is what's your warm practices for recruiting, and what's your cold practices for recruiting?
So give me an example of warm practices for
Can
recruiting.
you think of a more macro like way to look at it?
Yeah. No, not really.
No, right? It's like warm and cold, which is definitely part of my sales and marketing. Like, it's definitely inspired by those two things being things I love. But like, what's warm? Warm is a referral from an agent on your team,
Mm, okay.
right? So, how do you foster more warm recruits? You know, maybe it's something like the Shakely method, or what Keller Williams was really known for is, hey, Maybe it's something like EXP where they do some type of downline, right? Profit are the revenue share, right? Maybe it's an incentive under agents. Maybe it's a contest uh,
Mm.
in your team to get a trip to go to the Four Seasons or something. You said I've run those things. So when you think about recruiting, um, and I have a whole list that I've written about all this. So if any listeners or viewers want to see it, just send me a DM or whatever Instagram, and I'll send it over. Maybe we'll post a link in the show notes to a place where you can download it. Um, but how can you encourage more warm recruits? Like, how can you get more referrals, which is a warm lead, right? Then and compare that to how
So
can you get.
a warm is for sure warm. I mean, I can think of some connectors in my office over the years that, I think there was an agent at one time, she got her cousin to get her license. She got her brother-in-law to get a license. She was like a raving fan, like, hey, I came to this team and I have success. You can have success too. And I could probably attribute 5 people over the years that she brought in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that wasn't incentivized. It was more like she was just a raving fan. Just like you think about your buyers and sellers becoming raving fans, you don't pay them necessarily referrals. Can referrals work or incentivization work? 100%. But there's also this cultural aspect, this responsibility, this overarching mission of the team that people are bought into. And just flat out, if you want referrals from your clients, buyers and sellers, by the way, the first thing you got to get good at doing is asking them for referrals. So a lot of team leaders don't even bring it up to their team because out of what? Fear?
Fear.
Fear that they're going to be like, well, what about the leads? And what about me? And what about, right?
Fear.
Fear. Yeah. So
I
you got to
mean,
get past that fear.
I have so definitely have a great product, and you don't need to work on marketing, right? However, if you want to scale fast, sometimes some kind of financial needs to will
Mm.
help you get there sooner.
So does that get us into the cold?
Well, um, I mean, how just a couple ways to foster some case studies, some examples
God.
on how to foster warm referrals, a lead referrals from your team.
Okay.
Um, EXP and KW have theirs at a big brokerage level, and however that works, I'm not really an expert, but that is kind of a two well-known examples. At Big Block, part of the offer has always been is if you bring on 5 agents, your brokerage fees are free for life as long as you have 5 agents that you brought on
Whoa.
still there. So I mean, Big Block's model is 100%. That's my brokerage, not my team, and those fees are less. So it's not probably as much as you think, but everybody likes money. I hope. I had an agent. Shout out to Anna Alvarez. She's a great agent. She came in, put a deal in escrow right away. Before the deal closed, she had brought on 5 people. That was like a year and a half ago. She's at like 15 people that she's brought on now.
Whoa.
She's a walking billboard. And, plenty of other agents who have brought on plenty of people and don't save there either. That's not a huge expense for us. The more important thing there is just reminding the agents every week that it exists. If you don't want to go quite to that level, this is something that we've done in the past, especially when I was smaller with great success, is we had a recruiting contest. And if you referred somebody, you would get your name in a bowl. And if that person joined, they would get their name in a bowl and you would get another name in the bowl. And at the end of some prescribed time frame, month, 2 weeks, whatever it was, the bowl would fill up. And at the end of it, we'd pull a name out of the hat. And if you were busy recruiting a bunch of people that were joining, you would have more names in the hat because that's how that math works. And we would pay for them for a weekend up in Tahoe, give them some money to gamble. But people love it. It's a contest, something to win, right? Something else that I've seen work and I've experienced work for me is creating opportunities for the agents to bring their friends. For example, do a happy hour, right? Tell the agent, hey, if you bring a friend, once again, name in a hat. Bring a friend, whatever. Happy, like bring a friend that you want to hang out with who's in real estate. So those are just some examples of warm, besides just the phone ringing, which is also an example of great marketing. But I mean, warm. What else leads to more warm content?
So good, Suneet. So good. I mean, just like you're taking notes on my onboarding, I'm like, happy hour, bring a friend.
Yeah.
Because it's like birds of a feather flock together. It's like if you have a team that you enjoy being around and they're productive, chances are they hang out with other people that have like-minded, positive attitudes. Now, obviously, if you have a team that's negative, unproductive, lazy, maybe you don't do that strategy. But if you want more of what you already got, 100%. I thought about that in terms of what I've done before. This is an indirect warm. Okay. So you think about those contests. One contest that's worked really, really well for us over the years is like a review contest, a Google review contest.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so this is something I didn't know that would happen. So I get my team to do Google reviews, including my staff, and we generate. You don't want to totally game the system; they have to be legit because you don't want to get black. You want to be white hat, not black hat, with the Google reviews.
Yeah, and they will black hat you 100%.
Yeah. Am I saying that right? Black hat, white hat.
Yeah.
But I started getting a lot of reviews, and they were really fantastic written reviews. And I started getting phone calls from agents in training. And I remember one in particular, Shauna called me. She said, Shauna's like, hey, I'm interviewing I'm getting my license. I'm interviewing offices, right? Because I'm getting licensed. And I dove deeper. I said, well, how'd you hear about us? Like, what's the source? And she said, I read your reviews.
Dude, we get leads from Google like that, agents all the time.
Really? And those are the agents you want, right? Because they're the ones that are doing research.
Yes.
They're conscientious. They're professional. And I'm like, and she ended up moving to Walla Walla, which is down south from where I live, but she was fantastic. Right? So you get those as well, indirect.
Yeah, the phone rings and say, where'd you find out? Because we asked Google.
Oh, wow. Oh.
So they type in best realtor in Sacramento, best team in Sacramento, and your name and my name comes up because we have a ton of reviews and we know how to do that. Right? So
just like the consumer. And so here's the thing. Don't you raise your hand if you want more agents that want to work with the best. Like that's their standard. Right? Instead of Google, what office has the best split?
Yeah.
Which big block might, but which office, has the least training?
Right.
No one Googles that. Like they want, what are the top offices? Who are the best? Who's the top agent? Right? Who has the best training? And let's talk about training then. Is that a warm? That's how you.
Here's the segue is a great way to get face-to-face with people in a more warm type of lead environment is going to be doing group trainings, open group trainings, right? Do you have a space where you can do an open group training every damn month in your office? Maybe a neutral space. But, dude, I mean, and to give props to them, Keller Williams doing panels, doing trainings all the time. Like, and that's why.
They'll even charge for it.
Yeah, yeah. But like open training. So if you want to recruit agents in a warm environment and have people come to your office where you can get face to face with them, do some open trainings and panels, right? And have people come into your office. And that's your opportunity to, while it is a cold lead, as soon as they show up at your office, whether or not you've ever spoken to them, they're now a very warm lead. And that has worked extremely well for us. My challenge has been, when many other people's challenges is the consistent execution on those things.
Yep.
But
And you can have brand agnostic panels.
oh, 100%.
100%. And guess sometimes your panel guests are people that you covet.
Yeah.
100%, right?
So, I mean, those are like, it's kind of like a big top view, not big top circus, but big macro global view of warm recruiting. Like I said, I do have a list. If you want more information, just drop me a
Yeah.
DM.
We'll put in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put them in the show notes. But then cold. And what I've experienced is no one wants to do cold because they think it's hard. And if you are if you're my competitor or any Reside team, are a competitor of any of our Reside teams, and you don't want to do cold, good, because we're coming. But but like cold is harder. Cold is where sales and marketing comes in.
And that's what we're telling our agents to do.
Yes.
A lot of times we're telling a prospect, call
Yes.
people you don't know. They just signed up on the website, right? And
Yes.
so cold is, yeah, you got their name, number, and roster. You got the roster.
Yeah. I mean, if any agent out there is listening, calling a random buyer or seller is 100 times easier than calling a random agent.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I'll be the first to admit that I'm not very good at prospecting for agents by picking up the phone, because I don't like making those calls, right? So what did I do? Pay other people to make those calls. So they're still being done.
You're like the Henry Ford of real estate. You're like, I don't have to be the smartest person. I just need to hire the smartest person. Totally. And I think that's, to a certain extent, a good lesson that everyone can have here. It's just like, okay, the money to hire people.
Yeah.
You do here's what I do know about Suneet, right? Suneet and I, we're really good friends, we're business partners. He may not be picking up the phone. He may hire someone to do it. But I can tell you this, what he's consistent at: shooting videos.
Yeah.
I mean, Suneet shoots videos, coach lead and trains the other agent. They see him everywhere. So that takes the pressure off his team and his recruiter, because you're a known person, and it's not like, who are you? I've never heard of you. I mean, you probably still get that, but it's a lot easier.
Right? Yeah. And I mean, that was on purpose. I was standing in my old house in the nursery, which later became my office. And I was saying, like, I want more agents. I want more sales. I want to do more video than anybody.
I said something to you the other day about Reside, and it's a saying I like, to a certain extent. This is how we're going to win.
Yes.
This is how we're going to win, and this is how we're going to win big. And guess what, everybody? It's usually one thing. It's one thing that you are going to be the most committed, the most consistent, the best at. And you might not be the best at it right now, and someone might be doing it, but they're not going to do it as long or as great as you. And so for you, Suneet, it was like, I'm going to do video, and I'm going to win at it. I'm going to be the best at it. No one's going to do it more, and no one's going to do it longer. And over time, what happened? You end up getting, I know this, a photographer, Chris, a videographer on staff, right? It's the iterations, everybody. It's like, okay, now I got to get a VA to do the editing. Now I got to learn how to get this to multi-channels. Yeah. So who's good at multi-channels? I don't understand Instagram. I don't understand TikTok. Who knows that? Now, it kind of spawns. But it starts with like one statement almost, right?
Oh yes.
One moment where you're like, this is it. I'm doubling down on this.
I mean, go to one of my personal YouTube channels, and none of them are crazy high with subscribers, which is a whole other conversation. But you can see a lot of my old videos, and they were really, really bad. In fact, go to my Instagram and scroll to the beginning. They're terrible,
Mm.
and that's okay. However, those were there to take cold traffic to warm traffic,
Mm.
right? They're breeding the familiarity by content, by seeing me every single day. So video is a big strategy on bridging that gap, right?
And it sounds Tony Robbins-ish, right? But it comes with a decision. It's a decision to do it, and it's not about how. It's not about lighting. It's not about who. It's not about all that stuff. It's just about, yeah, your first videos are pretty bad. Do you expect them to be good? Like, I remember one time I was golfing with a friend and I was hacking it up, like hacking really bad. And I'm serious. I'm a serious dude, right? Until you get to know me, and then I'm kind
Yeah,
of,
well, I mean, yeah, you're
I'm kind
perceived
of,
as a serious dude.
I'm kind of playful, but like on the exterior, I'm serious. I'm intense because it's the focus. A lot of times, really hyper focused people come across cold and their facial expressions. Just know that. Be aware. Anyways, my friend was like, "Wait a second. Like, when's the last time you played?" I go, "I haven't played I've played like one time in 4 years." He goes, "You shouldn't expect to be good at this. Like, this is golf. Like, have fun. Like, you can't like get it." I was like, "Whoa, you're right. Like, I shouldn't expect to shoot a 72. No wonder. But if I continue to play golf, I'm going to get better over time." And
Yeah,
I got bomb. It's funny. I got bomb in 2011. And if I
that
can
is,
log into my bomb account and see my first video, it's so bad. It's so bad. It was, "Hi, thanks for signing up at the Nick McLean Real Estate Group. I just wanted to put a face to the name. It's Nick McLean. If you need anything, reach out." And it wasn't that good at all, right? It's like, "Hi, I'm Nick, and you are at my website. I'm Tarzan, you Jane." Right? It was really, really bad. But guess what, Suneet? In 2011 and 12, guess what? It worked. It worked. Like, I thought I was a stunt. Like, it actually worked because nobody else is doing it.
yeah.
And they're
No,
still not doing it.
it's something that you can win at. Content creation, like you can win by volume. It doesn't have to be good because in the beginning, the volume, the reps, the practice is what makes you good. So you just have to, start. And like full disclosure, I don't like 60% of what we put up anymore.
Yeah.
For my content, I mean, I'm really picky now because of so much volume. Um, However, like the consistency will win, the volume will win. And I'm not. I mean, I want to post more. I was telling Chris and the crew like we need to post. I think I said like 4 times per day per account, and my team just like freaked out a little bit.
Oh,
But and they like totally got real quiet. So we've scaled that back since, but to only twice a day, and it's really helped out. However, for our recruiting, it's we just need to do a series on content because you and I could go on.
we could go on and on and on and on. I mean, and for far as recruiting, that kind of wrap up the high level recruiting.
Yeah. So you have to find a way to get warm people reaching out to you, and you have to find multiple ways to cold reach out to people.
Mm-hmm.
There are count as many ways as there are, if not more, than finding buyers and sellers. There are more ways than finding buyers and sellers, as a matter of fact. Right? If I want to give people a couple of quick tips that I think you can implement today is, use the internet job boards. Start for free. You will win at internet job boards if you have a clear value proposition and you have good copywriting. and are unique. If you go down in a job board, every job board is the same job title and same headline, and you do the same one, you have no advantage at all. You're just like a name in a hat. Okay, so if you stand out, you'll get more clicks, which is just copywriting, right? Another quick tip is you can really saturate an entire agent population for about $300, maybe max per month on Facebook ads. Um, do it for video views. Maybe then you don't need to be, well, maybe then the importance of having this content creation machine and posting every day diminishes a little bit. If you're so inclined, it doesn't for me at all, but if you're so inclined, then it diminishes that a little bit, but you're able to, you will, every agent, you have an ability to make every agent in your market see your face every day for a nominal fee using Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that's good tips. And on the job boards and in general, hiring in general, I studied hiring multi-industry. I'm a big practitioner in terms of like, okay, studying our industry, but also having a funnel. So not tunnel vision, but funnel vision. I remember Jay Abraham saying that. Don't have tunnel vision, have funnel vision, which means most people, they model their industry. And it's just iterations and copying. Go funnel and look around. And so I looked around.
That is the Jay Abraham thing, 100%. Did I ever tell you that I had a dinner with him before I knew who he was?
No.
Dude, it was crazy.
Really? Yeah. If you didn't even know who he was and you were having dinner, you must have been like,
table. Like then I heard him talking. He sounded real smart. I looked him up. I was all, oh shit.
Oh yeah, because he's very eccentric and kind of articulate, very articulate. Yes, and the rhythms to the way he's a captivating speaker.
But so like Jay says, take examples from other industries instead of just making reiterations of what everyone else is doing.
Right. So right. I was learning from a top recruiter, not in real estate, a talent acquisition consultant. I mean, top companies would hire this gentleman to consult them on how to attract and convert top talent. Right. And he was paid lots of money. Like recruiters are paid a lot of money for the salaries. If you can land someone good, you get like their salary, basically. So he said something profound, and it was, when you have a highly qualified person, right? They're not going to wait around for you because they're talented and they know it, and someone's going to scoop them up or they're going to go place themselves. So let me just take that step back. When you have a job board out there for a new agent and you get a resume that's like UW, University of Washington Business School, MBA, top salesperson for 8 years at a Fortune 500 company, you may have the red tape-a-thon, the hoop-a-thon, the perfect hiring practice. Like, you got to do a personality profile and you got to have 4 interviews, 1 culture interview, 1 with Suneet, 1 with my director of training. Like, I'm just telling you, you as the owner probably just need to pick up that phone and call them.
Yes.
That I've won big on that. I've landed some really, really good people that I just know I wouldn't have got if I just didn't pick up the phone. And I see John Cheplak do this too. Like he says, like, sometimes when people want to coach with him or join, interested in Reside, he'll just call them. There's no like massive, like, let's see how bad they want to be 100% agent. Like, who's dying to be 100% agent?
Dude, it's like people create so much friction for themselves by doing all these steps. It makes my skin crawl. And
so are you a friction type hire or a remote friction hire? Okay.
Bro, what do you think?
I didn't know if I was offending you with my...
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
Nick, do I like friction in anything? No.
But this is a good point. How many team leaders out there have so much friction because they heard Selection process. How we
Let
are
me tell you guys
selection
something like this is you will get beat by somebody else by having all that friction. I can guarantee it.
on the top talent.
Yes.
And then you're wondering
Crazy
why.
people don't want to mess around with that shit.
No.
Like, give me a disc test, bro. I will not take it.
I learned this early in my recruiting career. I think I'll take you back 10 years ago. I was just a newbie team leader, broker owner, because I opened an independent brokerage right out of the gate. And I had an opportunity. I interviewed. This is how dumb I was. I thought recruiting was going to be easy because I had this experienced agent come into my office. No, I had an experienced agent email me asking about splits and stuff. And you know what I said? Send me your resume. Okay. Guess what? She doesn't have a resume. She probably gave me the middle finger to that email. But I was, and at the time I'm thinking, well, if you can't even get a resume together, then how are you going to write an offer? Suneet, she went on to sell 30 homes a year for like the next 5 years. And I remember I was going up to her. Her name was Pam, and I said, Pam, I gotta apologize to you for, like, I really blew it, didn't I? She goes, yeah, you blew it. So it's just the moral of the story is that friction was like I had a top agent talent and I let her go because I want to make it hard, And is she capable of a resume? More than capable. She was kind of actually new to the industry. She was a builder, she was in the building industry getting a real estate license. So,
Yeah.
but fantastic agent that got away.
Well, you learned your lesson, so hopefully that was the last one.
Well, man, I think we should wrap it up. This has been really fun.
And
we'll do more.
Yes.
So I guess if they want to find us, learn more about you, or they want access to some of your stuff, we're here to help people grow. That's why we started Reside. We're not like untouchable. We're not necessarily recruiting you to that. It's for some people, not for everybody. So reach out to us, find us online, Facebook, Instagram, follow us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, if you got any kind of value out of this, number one, I would love to know. So leave a comment if you learned something. Number two, share it with a friend, like and subscribe. We're going to be doing more of these. Like Nick said, find us both on Instagram and Facebook. We both have cool websites you can check out. And if you are interested in Reside, if you're a team leader who's looking to scale your business and get more time back and get back to doing the things that you love, which one of them could hopefully be making more money, check out residediscover.com.
Reside Discover. Or you just want to work with us.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right.
All right.